Hi, I'm Dr. Stephanie Chadwick, and I teach art history in the Lamar University Department of Art and Design. I'm here today at the Art Studio Inc. on Franklin Street in downtown Beaumont, and I'm here today to talk about this great exhibition, Raising the Roof. And this is an exhibition that is comprised of artworks by all kinds of local and regional artists, and also internationally renowned artists. And the exhibition, Raise the Roof, is being held in conjunction with an online auction to raise funds to raise the roof. So funds from art sales from this event will be going toward an ongoing project of new roofs and roof repairs for the great buildings here on Franklin Street where we're standing today. So we're in the main gallery right now of the exhibition. And before we talk about the art, I want to say a little bit more about the art studio itself. So here we are in this great space, and for almost 40 years, the art studio has been serving Beaumont and the entire Southeast Texas art community. And they do this by providing artist studio space, artist residencies, art education, and a lot of community outreach. So one of the great things about today's exhibition, and really this whole month's exhibition, is that it's going to highlight work that has both helped to make this community possible, and also that the art studio has helped to facilitate in the community as well. So I know that as an art educator, I myself really enjoy being able to come here and to send my students here to be able to see artwork, great artwork in the different exhibitions that are held here each month throughout the years, each year. So having said that, let's look at some of the art in the show, because there are a lot of really great pieces. And one of the things that kind of characterizes this show, I'm going to kind of start here. I've got this kind of great wall here that kind of shows us what kind of an eclectic array of works we have here by such a wide range of art professionals in the region. So one of the things about this show is that it's highlighting the work of established artists and also emerging artists, so in dialogue with each other in this same show. So I'm kind of right away, I'm drawn to this piece here that by artist Grace Magnet, who is an artist and art educator who has been working in this region for a very long time, and who has nurtured and mentored a lot of local and regional artists in the area. And you know, I'm really drawn to this piece, especially because I love the way it's dealing with this kind of interesting juxtaposition of nature and culture. So we've got this kind of like envision, right? I mean, that's what we're doing here today. We're looking at art, right? And we're thinking about all these interesting approaches to art by all these different artists. And so right away, we've got this kind of bold statement, vision, you know? And then we've got it kind of combined with all these different words that are referring to elements in both nature and culture. So I think this is a great example of the kind of interesting work that I love to see here at the art studio, and that I love to talk to my students about. And then right next to it, we've got this series of 3 really interesting collages, well, really assemblage pieces, right? It's like 3-dimensional collage pieces. And so again, anytime we're looking at something that's dealing with collage, what we're talking about is kind of an overlapping of images or objects, and that kind of process usually draws our attention not only to creative processes themselves, but also to the relationship between art and elements that we see in everyday life or visual culture. So I love these pieces because I'm going to just kind of start with this one here. And these are by artists named Jane Silvernell. And this is a piece that's combining like some of the artist's own tools. Paintbrushes are here. But then, you know, scissors, and then interesting things like this herbal catalog. So again, we've got these kind of nature and culture kind of juxtapositions going on. I like that there's like canceled stamped postage stamps here. And then kind of moving down here, again, each one of these has elements that seem very natural and organic, like the wood grain, kind of combined with mechanical elements like cogs that you see in machines, right? And then this piece at the end, Fern Hollow, you know, that's kind of coming from this children's book series and kind of combining it with this, you know, interesting picture frame here, but even kind of across the top, you've got this spoon going across where you've got elements from the book that have been kind of juxtaposed with these ordinary household objects. So once again, we're kind of already seeing this kind of eclectic array. And I also kind of see here in the gallery that we have ceramics, we have art glass, and I'm not sure if the art glass we have art glass here, really beautiful, beautiful works. And we also have works here in photography, drawing, print media, painting. So there's lots of different works to see and lots of different works that you can come see at the studio during the day, and you can also see by going to the Art Studio website and taking a look at the auctioned items that are offered each week on eBay. Talking about some of the legacy artists that are in the show, the really established artists, I thought I would at least kind of take a look here at these beautiful ceramic pieces by artist Greg Buscemi. So talking about legacy artist Greg Buscemi Sr., we are talking about, you know, obviously the instrumental founder and director of the art studio itself. Always here, just was here today working, in fact. Always here working on the studio, always here also making his artwork, and always here providing resources for local artists and tenants who are working here at the art studio. So, and there are also ceramic pieces by an array of artists as well. So again, there's kind of something for everyone. We've got sculptures in wood here as well. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of the paintings. Actually talk about a painting and then maybe some of the other two-dimensional media. So I just kind of wanted to kind of stop by and look at this work by Abby McLaurin. And this is, you know, this is a work called Drowning. So, you know, it's kind of a somber subject matter maybe, but I just want to say that this is one of the pieces that really caught my eye when I came in to take a look at the show because, you know, again, it seems to be an interesting combination, an interesting kind of juxtaposition between maybe, you know, elements of danger and anxiety, but also elements that seem to me very lively, to kind of suggest a kind of vibrancy in the artistic practice and in life itself. So this kind of interesting juxtaposition between life and death, and then also between figuration and abstraction, right? So we've got this abstracted figure, but we've got these really intense and really expressive marks kind of all around this figure and also all around this kind of watery background. And once again, I call this a painting, but I should say it's a painting that also includes mixed media. So once again, we've got these elements that are collage-like elements, right? So if we look closer at this painting, we can see that actually part of the background is like wallpaper. So there's this interesting kind of haunting quality about this kind of old wallpaper, the kind of wallpaper that you see like maybe in an old house or an attic kind of room or a vacant building of some kind. So again, really kind of interesting combinations and really interesting to look at. So it's the kind of artwork that I think a person can come in and maybe spend time looking at multiple times. And once again, you don't have to participate in the auction or purchasing to come and look at the art. We hope that you will. But the art studio is here, and this gallery is here as a resource for educational purposes and for community enrichment purposes as well. So on that note, I think I would also like to say that even though these resources are made available to everyone in the community for free, if you're not already a member of the Art Studio, I strongly encourage you to become one because the membership for the Art Studio is very, very affordable, and that membership helps to fund all the exhibitions that the studio does all year long, and it also includes a lot of benefits. One of the benefits to me, I think, has been mostly the way that it brings information to my door and the way that it puts me in contact with my local art community. So I definitely would encourage people to come and see the show no matter what and support it if you can. And even if you don't find something that you want to purchase, I would definitely encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Art Studio. And once again, all these artists are also active members of the studio as well. Right, so in this great space, we are in this main kind of gallery area, and now I'm going to take us on a little walk up to look at some of the other works in the show. So for people who have musical interests, I am really drawn to these prints. These are prints by artist Millicent Tompkins, and it's a set of 2 prints that have this really delicate and, I would say beautiful rendering of these instruments. So we've got a grand piano and kind of covered in an array of different instruments. So once again, we've got this kind of interesting combination of a lot of different images. And that work is all in black and white, and then you've got these accents of color that are drawing our eye to a carpet in one of the works, and in an old, kind of beautiful, kind of an antique chair that's clearly kind of, you can see springs coming out of the bottom, but it's still this really beautiful piece of furniture with this beautiful sort of brocade pillow on it. And again, I think for someone who has a love of music, one or both of these prints would be a great addition to your space where you listen to or perform music. All right, so I'm going to take this up. Okay, so we are now in the portion of the gallery that has a lot of 2-dimensional works, and I just am going to point out a few that are catching my eye right away. And one of the pieces I wanted to mention is this small piece by an artist named Serena Lebrun, and this is called Spindle Top. And when I look at this, I'm seeing this kind of interesting, again, a kind of an interesting explosion between kind of nature and culture. And in this case, it's got this real kind of resonance with elements of pop culture, but also Texas culture, specifically Southeast Texas culture and Southeast Texas history. And actually, Serena is an artist who has recently rejoined the art community here, and she's also an art educator. She teaches some of our art courses that we offer at Lamar University. So we're really happy to have Serena involved both at Lamar and also here at the art studio. And I want to mention this work as well because Serena is going to be having an exhibition here at the art studio coming up, I believe in March. So I definitely encourage people to come and take a look at her show. Her work is really interesting. I've seen her work exhibited several times now in different venues, and I really look forward to that show coming up. And for anyone who may be interested in acquiring a piece of her work now, we have this piece in the auction right now. Another piece that really catches my eye here is this great tree by local artist Marty Arredondo, excuse me. And Marty's someone that many of us know. We've seen his work around town for a very long time, right? And he's got these characteristic, both of these pieces are by Marty, and I feel like maybe I'm always kind of excited to see some of the pieces that look like this smaller piece on the left. You know, they're really fun. They bring in different elements of, again, kind of pop culture juxtaposed with the artist's own interests. But I really love this tree, and I love the way this is framed. And actually, Marty's very well known for doing these really interesting things with the frames as well. And I think that's one of the most interesting things about this particular piece. I like to paint myself, and I like to do abstracted landscapes, so I'm really drawn to this tree. I just love it, but I think what really makes it for me is this combination of the 2 frames and how there's a dialogue between these really kind of vivid colors, especially the outer frame, the kind of reddish frame, and the slightly more subtle version of those colors in this tree where we've got this great silhouette of this tree coming up. So this is a great piece, you know, and I should say, you know, I may have dibs on this one myself. So, but yeah, I definitely encourage to come and take a look at that. You know, I'm looking at other works here that use collage, and that seems to be a pretty common theme that we've seen throughout this show, and I think it's perfect for this show. And actually, there are a few pieces right here in this kind of group dealing with either collage specifically or collage-inspired imagery. So this particular piece by Matt Bichars, it's called Abstract Destruction. I like that title too, I think that's really cool. And it's like, you know, you've got this kind of assortment. This is a toner transfer print. So you've got these different printed images of these crashed cars. So it's like this abstracted, right? But it's also this idea of kind of destruction. And I think one thing that's kind of interesting about this is it also, to me, kind of speaks to that collision that occurs whenever an artist is working in any kind of collage or collage aesthetic. There's always this kind of smashing together of different elements and images, but he's done it in a really aesthetically almost elegant way here with the colors and the way the composition has been arranged. So, and also I think what's kind of cool about this is there's this tension between destruction and creation. So this idea of kind of using destruction as part of a creative process. So fascinating piece, another fascinating piece in the show. And then it's right next to a work by Grace Mathis, right? And many of us know Grace from in town and her work as well. Great collage piece here. Again, anytime we're looking at collage, we've got this really interesting combination of pop culture and then the artist's own interest kind of coming together in the same piece. So, I love this kind of eclectic array, and I like the fact that we have combinations here of emerging artists, established artists, and then very well-known artists as well. And in fact, one of the very well-known artists who has been gracious enough to donate artworks, and also who we've had other community members donate artworks, is the artist and illustrator Lynn Sweat. And we're gonna look at some more of his works, some of his paintings that are hanging on the wall. But first I wanted to show, look at all these prints. We've got this whole assortment here where we've got prints that have been donated by Lynn Sweat. And Lynn Sweat, I mean, I mentioned that he's a very well-known artist and illustrator. Also, I mean, he's been creating work for decades and is probably most famous for illustrating the Amelia Bedelia book series. And we have a lot of students, educators, and art patrons in the area that are very interested in his work. And also a lot of our students in our graphic design program are interested in the work of Lynn Sweat. In fact, we featured Lynn Sweat as one of the artists we discussed in the graphic design chapter in our department art appreciation textbook. So, I mean, this is a great opportunity to look at a wide variety of Lynn Sweat's artworks, and of course to bid on them if anyone would like to acquire them. It's also kind of cool, I didn't mention this, but in the gallery, next to all the artworks, we also have QR codes so that if someone is interested in one of these works and wants to bid on them, you can just take out your phone and scan this QR code and it'll take you right to the eBay auction site. But you are also welcome to just come in anytime, and there's a buy it now price on each of these artworks as well. And you know, you can see these prints that are on the pedestals here, but I'm not sure if you can tell, but there's actually holders here with many more prints. So we just have a great variety of prints here to look at. And there are over 140 works in the show by all of the artists. So we have a lot of artwork available here. So now let's look at some more of Lynn Sweat's paintings and some of the other artworks that we have that I'd like to highlight right now. And here's one of the Lynn Sweat paintings, Woman with Deer. And this is it's an incredible painting, actually. The palette on this is amazing. We've got these deep blues and violets, but also we've got this, silhouette of this deer in the background and this really kind of graphically rendered figure in the foreground. So really interesting piece, and there are a couple of other paintings that I'll show by Lynn Sweat in a moment, but let's take a look at a few of the other artists in this part of the show. So one of the pieces that caught my eye when I came into the exhibition is this small-scale painting by artist Christopher Troutman. And Chris Troutman is not only is a local artist, but he's the drawing professor at Lamar University, so he's one of my colleagues. And he has exhibited work here at the art studio and also other venues in town. And his work is really interesting. And this is kind of different for him. This is a natural landscape. And the other thing that's a little bit different about it for Chris Troutman's work is that it is a smaller scale. But one of the things about that, though, is that it makes it a very nice kind of intimate size for someone who is looking to acquire one of Troutman's works for your home or for your collection. Another great piece dealing with the natural environment. And then I really like the piece next to it by Michelle Kate. So Michelle Kate here is on the staff at the art studio, and a great resource for us here at the art studio. And this is called Wintering Fig Tree, and this is instant film emulsion lift. It's very small, very intimate piece, and then it's in this great, just kind of black and white frame and matte. But it's this beautiful, like silhouette version of this really intimate kind of natural form. So very interesting piece. And these paintings and prints that we're seeing here are also in a dialogue with other collage works, other paintings, and also some really great examples of photography as well. And now I'm going to take us to a few more pieces that we can kind of take a look at. So here we have an artist's proof by Xenia Fedorchenko, who's another one of my colleagues at Lamar, who has also graciously donated work to this exhibition. And I wanted to point that out. This is another really fascinating image that is combining images from the natural world, images of a tree, rabbit, hands, human figure elements, but in a really kind of interesting and intriguing way, kind of mysterious and kind of haunting even. And this is a great piece, and I love the way that we have the paper here, very nice paper with kind of a natural tear at the bottom. So again, very well-established artists in the area who have graciously donated artworks. And in addition to just so many community donors who have also been donating great artworks to this show. And so having said that, here are a couple of other of these great paintings by Lynn Sweat that I mentioned. And these are just two of many paintings and prints that you can see here at this exhibition. I really love these, and I know we're already starting to get some interest in these works as well. This piece, Estate at Dawn, really caught my eye when I came into the show, because I really love the stark contrast between these complementary colors here. You've got this really kind of vibrant orange sky, and then these really kind of deep blue and green shadows. So this, as someone who really enjoys painting, I could spend a lot of time looking at this piece. I really love it. And we also have another Lynn Sweat on this wall here, this kind of angel figure, and I think there will be more pieces that will be becoming available as well. So having said that, I just want to say again, I really encourage you to come and see the Art Studio Raise the Roof exhibition and auction, and to check us out on social media. And actually links to the eBay auction you can get right on the Art Studio website. And you can also just call the Art Studio. You can call Stephanie Horta or Michelle or Greg Buscemi at 409-838-5393. So please come and check out the exhibition.